So, as per our tradition, if you would come off mute and say your happy birthdays.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy
Birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy
birthday!
Oh my God, it's beautiful. Thank you.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
This is completely a kind of proto Zoom session, and just find out what works and what doesn't work, and how we can all talk, and whether or not, and how we can interject, get involved without 16 people all shouting at the same time.
But you know, actually, I have to confess, I was fully cognizant that at noon I had a date. But then I started cleaning blinds, and then I had to start moving furniture, and then one thing led to another, and it was Irene who reminded me, don't you have something at noon with Sid?
Oh, well, Ira, you should definitely know the answer to this. Which secretive organisation recruited Dr. Bashir against his will to work for them?
I want to know if Sid remembers.
Yeah, Sid, what was it?
Section 31.
Thank you, Sid.
Yes.
This is such a wonderful thing that Sid does, to think of all of you all over the world and to think where you are right now and what you're doing. And I'm in LA and it's gloomy June weather starting already. And this connection, it's amazing and wonderful. And I so appreciate it. Birds are hard because they attach themselves to one person, and then they're like little dinosaurs. They try to kill everybody else.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And it was a real privilege to get to know people and their story. And they always start out by saying, my story is really boring compared to the last person. And then they're amazing, and they've got something, and they're fascinating, wherever they work, whatever they do, however they're dealing with this COVID thing.
And I enjoy meeting fans.
Yeah, you talk to fans, which I love. I mean, you give time. You spend a lot of time.
They take the time and the energy, and they spend the money, and they come and they express their appreciation of your work. What am I going to do? You know, like it's kind of extraordinary because it is a symbiotic relationship. The physicians here have the tendency to avoid the necessary dispassion and for harder truths. You, however, have a refreshingly forthright bedside manner.
Wow, a compliment. You must be neurologically compromised.
Not at all, Jake. I have absolutely nothing further to tell you, other than...
Well, you're talking to the editor-in-chief of the Federation News Service, Julian. I know that when people are trying to keep a secret from me, so, I mean, hell, you don't know what I know.
You'd be surprised, and watch your language.
Your Garrick is equally deceptive. So, we want you to let him die.
Look, what other agents are tasked with doing is none of my business, but I will not be responsible for a death.
Definitely people have a very different perception of what an Arab Muslim man looks like. And so it's very interesting to me. But I mean, I've grown up with men like this. And so for me, this is what I knew. And I was really adamant to protect him. I remember early on, actually, a financier saying to me, you know, he has to do something violent that would shock her, that would do. And I was like, violent? Are you insane? I'm not doing that. And I really was so protective of this character.
Is that? Oh, pity! It's another message. What must I give?
Computer,
Have a decent, uninterrupted conversation with my husband.
computer, dismiss message.
The trees wait until the dark times to sing. Flowers wait until the dark times to sing. Poetry's in fashion again. Someone told me so did Bowie. The trees wait until the dark times to sing.
And where do you have a garden? Are you going to have a garden in the next place?
I always gardened, and I had a community garden plot at Auburn when I was a master's student, so I think I'll probably get a community garden plot again.
Because you can bring some pretty useful skills to a garden. Absolutely.
Yeah. And vice versa, because you have to know how to grow plants if you want to do a glasshouse study.
And you need to know what soil is.
I learned that the hard way. It's hard to grow plants.
So let's talk about your cross stitching.
I wonder, will you recognize yourself today? Because it is cross stitch of you again. Okay, so here.
Oh. Wow. That's amazing.
I think so too.
Oh, good gracious me. That's just like a photograph.
Yeah.
Wow. That is astonishing.
Earth, the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Buildings made of mud and wood and brick. People living in antiques.
This antique is my home.
Oh.
This project is 243 pages of food, art, family stories.
Oh my goodness.
It's really a record of what we eat and what we have done and where we were during lockdown.
We actually collaborated on that costume. So Crow did all of the fabric.
The fall front trousers are particularly fun.
And then I did all of the leather bits.
I would wear those trousers anyway. I mean, they're just...
they're fantastic.
Oh yeah, they're good fun.
Brilliant! That's really wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. You're playing Fallout currently?
I'm playing Avengers, the brand new Avengers game. We just finished Last of Us 2. That was so good. But yeah, we go back to Fallout all the time.
Oh yeah. Fallout's is staple for us.
I'm on Destiny 2. I don't normally do the shoot 'em ups, but I'm having a go at Destiny 2. I'm normally the MMORP guy.
So I did Mediterranean sweet and tomato chicken, and I made some roast potatoes with them.
Ooh. And what was the sauce? That was Mediterranean.
It's literally just called a Mediterranean tomato paste. And you're supposed to make the sauce by adding the paste to chopped onion and red pepper.
I have 4 drawings here, and the interesting thing about the first 3 is that I did them while listening to Sid City.
Wow.
And I turned my camera on the drawing so that people could watch if they wanted to.
Wow, that is exquisite work, my friend.
Why we have the Electoral College is for a few reasons. And the biggest thing is you had states that were not as heavily populated as others, and they didn't want to be dominated by the bigger states. And in some cases, some of those states have slaves.
Australia's got some phenomenal plants, native species, which are now all over the world.
Yes.
The bottle brush tree and stuff like that. I think maybe South Africa, but South Africa and Australia are actually weirdly very similar.
Yeah, we do have a bottle brush tree. A lot of South African plants are actually weeds here because the climate is just so well suited.
I make leather masks. So this is one of the guys that's...
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, that's absolutely exquisite.
This is kind of my signature piece.
Wow.
This one, it used to be green. I've been wearing it for a few years at shows.
I was born in the soul of misery, and I never had me a name. They just gave me a number when I was young.
First, we kind of had to decide what's our mission, what's the purpose of what we're going to do. And then we needed to find a platform and a format, and we ended up with this kind of talk radio style show that happens on Zoom twice a week.
I'll try this so you can watch this. Let's try 4 aces with 3 cards on each one. We'll start with this ace over here. The first ace. Do is take it. And the first ace, hopefully, vanishes.
Wow.
1 ace is gone.
We have a restaurant in Western Massachusetts. And
oh my goodness! This is your restaurant.
Yes.
Oh, you have my. Oh my goodness! What a. This is a fun. I've got to tell people what's just happened to me. There is a cookbook, kimchi and curry, and it's my favorite cookbook, and it was given to me, and it was signed by you guys, and you're the real people. You're the people who own this wonderful restaurant.
In Biden, we have kind of a repeat of Jimmy Carter. Biden's been very clear about his Catholic faith, but also very clear about his progressive policies. Especially when combined with his woman of color VP Kamala Harris, Biden has hit the ultra-conservative bingo of undesirable.
God, it's just a joy to see them all again, isn't it? It's just marvelous. I'm just really happy for you.
Listen,
I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The writing, I get to play in my imagination, but it really comes to life when everyone is working on their roles. So
My characters have been hit by more buses than I've had hot meals.
But look, I mean, speaking of representation, I mean, I think about some of the main characters you've played, and even just in the case of like the Prince of Dorne, like you get what he's trying to do. You care about that guy. Part of it's because of the performance, part of it's because of the writing, part of it's because you understand that he's struggling with disability and he's trying to hold his shit together in this crazy place.
I'm so happy to be back. It gives me so much joy, and it's getting all my cobwebs out. So when COVID's over, I can go try to get a paying job.
We are, if that's the outcome, we're on board.
Thank you.
Love it.
We'd all like to see you on the screen again, Terry.
Tito. Hi, Shona.
He is going to think he's got a lot of aunts and uncles and various relatives that he's never met.
Hi, Clem.
Don't encourage me. I don't have small children to send things to.
Right? The pandemic may end, but the club continues simply because we've accidentally created a family for the children.
I'm here for this.
You found a family for us.
Yeah,
and we love you.
I love this time of year mainly because it's a moment where we all get to think about people who aren't doing so well. And all over the world, as we are represented in this club, there are people who are struggling a bit. And I hope we can take a second to think about them.
We felt it was only time that you had a little bit of recognition yourself. So if you'd like to go ahead and open it.
Okay. Oh my god! Oh dear god! What the hell? Oh
Please show the class.
What you've googled? Oh my god! You've googled. Where the hell was that from? That is just bizarre. So you've gone online and you have googled photos from different parts of my career.
I used to hate that part of myself so much. I used to loathe that constant feeling of wrongness when everything else came so easily. But lately, I've realized that's Jules. He's still here.
As anyone who worked with me knows, I was always trying to make Quark more of a three-dimensional character than what most people took him for. So I'm very gratified that this is happening here. He is more than meets the eye.
I think the hardest job is for Sirach, because in a way his character is new. He was a child on Deep Space Nine, and now he's, you know, a sort of swashbuckling adult. And he's the one who's actually got to forge new work, look for new traits in characters and stuff. So my hat's off to him for the work he has to do.
I want to say that I'm mad that we killed Django.
Yeah.
I hit my head on the wall last time he was here, and then you killed him?
Now, in my defense, the episode was already written.
Trust would be one huge thing that will help you with flow, but knowing what you're doing is another, and then doing it to the highest capability you have. Those are some things.
This is so great to hear, because this is basically what's part of my teaching, and it is the flow where we access our imagination.
I've got to say, I'm by no means an expert chef, and I've got some PAs that could burn water given half a chance. We did try the miso chicken a couple of weeks ago, and either it didn't work or the PA didn't work. I'm not sure which. Possibly.
There's a lot of stuff behind me. I do a lot of art. There's a painting I'm working on.
Oh my goodness. Wow, yeah, can we see that painting a little bit more? Because it looks pretty great.
Sure. It's not finished, but it's a picture of my papa's boat.
Yeah, my dog looks a bit like it. Well, my wife's dog really, she's quite heavy now. But she looks a bit,
Yeah, I'm big.
Oh, you're big. You're big. Because she just had to be spayed. Oh my god, she's attacking me. Right.
So the way that soundtracks are usually made in anime is the director or producer has like a list they send to the composer of like, these are the types of genres of music we want you to do, or these are the type of scenes we want you to write music for, and the composer follows that. But what happened with this is that the composer, she wrote 3 times the music that was ordered.
And the last thing that I'll show you is the last Remco thing, which I find really cool. This was a Star Trek utility belt. So actually this was the Batman utility belt, but they repurposed it into Star Trek. But at least it does have, if you can see, it does actually have a tricorder that looks like a tricorder, a phaser, and it does also have a communicator. So those are a couple of loose bits. There's the tricorder, and the phaser. And there's a little communicator with the thing on.
The heat and score method that I talked about with the craft knife, I did that right here. Basically, those details we're creating just by creating little cross hatches in the foam. Not deep enough to cut the whole thing apart, just thin enough to score it, and then put the heat gun on that for about 5 seconds, and then they opened up.
With Tom's beautiful flowing locks, would you recommend that brush for him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Send it over, dude.
That's the puppy. Pretty special. Pretty special. You see?
Pretty
Fits
special.
ergonomically in the hand.
Yeah.
Very useful. And gets through hair quite rapidly.
Wow. Special.
So you're pulling your elbows straight behind you, and in one sort of strong, fluid motion, you're going to push and break. It breaks the clasp. So I'll show you what I mean. So hands above your head.
The thing I love doing at the moment most is I've sort of gradually started doing work with students, drama students in various drama schools here, where I go in and I just talk about how to stay sane and live with dignity as an actor. Because they never get taught that, they only get taught the skills. So I go in and I say, look, I've got 30 years of experience, I'm not a teacher, but I'm happy and I know how to survive, and keep yourselves sane and to walk into an audition where you have some dignity and you're not just begging.
Is there anything in your mind that you can talk about that touched you about this period? Is there anything that you went, you know what, the world is a little bit better because of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's just people that I wouldn't have met without this. I mean, without the club.
The whole Zoom thing, yeah.
The whole, Zoom, but also the club and everything like that. There's people I would have never met, and then I somehow met them through this, and we're just vibing on the same level, and you're just like, I can't believe how well I'm getting along with people from the world. Not that I was an unsociable person in the past, but just like the fact that we all clicked as well as we did.